Have you ever felt like English is a mountain that never seems to get smaller? You start with motivation. You watch videos. You learn new words. But somehow, after weeks or even months, you still feel stuck. If that sounds familiar, this video is for you. Hi, and welcome. Take a moment, slow down, and just listen. Because today, we are not going to talk about shortcuts, hacks, or magic methods. We are going to talk about something much more powerful, something more real. Learning English. Step by step. Not fast, not perfect, but sustainably. Because the truth is, most people don't fail because English is too hard. They fail because they try to run before they can walk. In this video, I will walk with you step by step. Part 1. The biggest mistake. Trying to learn everything at once. Let's start with the most common mistake. And it's a big one. Most English learners try to learn everything at the same time. Grammar, vocabulary, listening, speaking, pronunciation, idioms, slang, all at once. It feels productive, but it's actually the fastest way to burn out. Imagine this. You go to the gym for the first time, and instead of learning how to lift properly, you try to lift the heaviest weight in the room. What happens? You get tired, you get frustrated, maybe even injured. Learning English works the same way. Your brain is not designed to absorb everything at once. It needs structure. It needs repetition. It needs time. But most importantly, it needs focus. One step at a time, not 10 steps at once. Here's what many learners don't realize. Confusion doesn't come from English being difficult. Confusion comes from too much input without direction. You watch one video about grammar, then another about pronunciation, then another about advanced phrases. And suddenly, everything feels mixed together. You don't know what to practice. You don't know what to remember. You don't even know if you're improving. And that feeling is where most people quit. So let me tell you something clearly. You don't need more information. You need a better path, a simpler path, a step-by-step path. Because progress in English is not about how much you learn in one day. It's about how consistently you move forward, every day, even if the step is small. Especially when the step is small. So in the next part, we're going to rebuild your approach from the ground up. Not faster, but smarter. Part 2. Build a strong foundation. Before you go fast, let's be honest for a moment. Most learners don't actually have a strong foundation. They think they do. But when it comes to real communication, they hesitate. They translate in their head. They forget simple words. They lose confidence mid-sentence. And the reason is simple. They skipped the foundation. They rushed into advanced English without mastering the basics. But here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Advanced English is just basic English used very well. That's it. So instead of chasing complexity, we need to return to simplicity and rebuild the foundation, step by step. 1. First, vocabulary that actually matters. Not random words, not long lists, not 1,000 words you must know. Because let's face it, you don't need 1,000 words to have a conversation. You need the right words, the words you use every day. Simple verbs, common nouns, useful phrases, words like go, make, get, need, try, think. These are not basic words. These are power words because they appear everywhere, and if you truly understand them, you can express hundreds of ideas. For example, I get it. I get tired. I get better. I get what you mean. Same word, different meanings, real communication. That's what you should focus on. Not rare vocabulary, but usable vocabulary. 2. Second, grammar that serves you, not confuses you. Many learners are afraid of grammar. And honestly, I understand why. Because grammar is often taught in a complicated way. Rules, exceptions, long explanations. But in real life, you don't think about grammar rules when you speak. You speak from patterns. So instead of memorizing rules, start noticing patterns. Simple patterns like, I am, I have, I want to, I am going to. These are your building blocks. Practice them, repeat them, use them in different situations. I am tired. I am ready. I am learning. I want to improve. I want to speak better. I want to understand more. You see, you're not learning grammar. You're building confidence. 3. Third, listening before speaking. This is where many learners go wrong. They try to speak before they have enough input. And that creates pressure, because speaking is output, but output needs input first. Think about how children learn a language. They listen for months before they speak. They absorb sounds. They recognize patterns. They understand meaning. Only then, they start speaking. You are not a child, but your brain still learns in a similar way. So give yourself permission to listen more. Listen to slow English. Listen to clear voices. Listen to content you can understand. Not 100%, maybe 60%, maybe 70%. That's enough, because understanding everything is not the goal. Understanding enough is. 4. And most important, consistency over intensity. You don't need to study 5 hours a day. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to show up every day, even if it's just 15 minutes. Because small steps, done consistently, are stronger than big efforts, done occasionally. This is how real progress happens, quietly, slowly, but surely. Part 3. Motivation is not enough. Let's talk about something honest, something many people don't say out loud. Motivation doesn't last. At the beginning, you feel excited. You watch videos. You take notes. You imagine yourself speaking English fluently. It feels good. But after a few days, maybe a few weeks, that feeling starts to fade. You feel tired, busy, distracted. And suddenly, learning English becomes something you should do, not something you want to do. This is where most people stop. Not because they are not capable, but because they relied on motivation. And motivation is unstable. It comes and goes. So if motivation is not enough, what actually keeps you going? 1. Discipline, but not the way you think. When people hear the word discipline, they imagine something hard. Strict schedules, long study hours, no breaks. But real discipline is much simpler. It's not about pushing yourself to the limit. It's about reducing resistance, making it easier to continue. For example, instead of saying, I will study English for 2 hours every day. Say, I will listen to English for 10 minutes. That's it. Because starting is the hardest part. Once you start, you often continue. But if the task feels too big, you avoid it. So make it small. Make it easy. Make it repeatable. That's real discipline. 2. Build a habit. Not a plan. Plans look good on paper. But habits work in real life. A plan depends on your mood. A habit becomes automatic. You don't think about it. You just do it. Like brushing your teeth. You don't need motivation to do that, because it's part of your routine. So the question is, how do you turn English into a habit? Start by attaching it to something you already do. For example, listen to English while you drink your morning coffee, or while you drive, or before you go to sleep. Same time, same action, every day. At first, it feels intentional, but over time, it becomes natural. And that's when learning becomes sustainable. 3. Accept slow progress. This is very important, because many learners quit, not because they fail, but because they expect too much, too soon. They want fast results. They want to see improvement immediately. But language learning doesn't work like that. It's not linear. Some days, you feel like you're improving. Other days, you feel stuck. And sometimes, you even feel like you're getting worse. But you're not. You're just in the middle of the process. Progress in English is like growing a tree. You don't see it grow every day. But that doesn't mean it's not growing. Roots are forming. Connections are building. Understanding is deepening. Silently. So don't measure your progress by how you feel today. Measure it by how consistent you've been this month. 4. When you feel like quitting. There will be days when you don't feel like learning, when everything feels difficult, when you doubt yourself. That's normal. But here's what matters. Don't stop completely. Even on your worst day, do something small. Listen to one short audio. Read one paragraph. Learn one sentence. Because stopping completely breaks the habit, but small action keeps it alive. Part 4. Practice English in real life, not just in theory. Now we move to something practical. Because learning without practice is just information. And information alone does not create fluency. You can understand a lot, but still struggle to speak. You can recognize words, but not use them. And that's because you're learning English like a subject, not like a language. So let's change that. Let's bring English into your real life. 1. Stop studying all the time. Here's something that might surprise you. You don't need to study English all the time. In fact, too much studying can make you feel tired and disconnected. Because studying feels like work. But language is meant to be lived. So instead of always sitting down with books, start using English in simple, natural ways. For example, talk to yourself. Yes, seriously. When you wake up, say, "Okay, what do I need to do today?" When you cook, "I'm cutting vegetables." This smells good. I think it needs more salt. Simple sentences, real situations, no pressure, no audience, just you and the language. 2. Think in English. Slowly. Many learners translate everything, from their native language into English. Word by word. That's why speaking feels slow and stressful. So here's a better way. Start thinking directly in English. Not perfectly, not completely, just little by little. At first, it feels strange. You may only think in single words, then short phrases, then full sentences. And that's okay, because thinking in English is the bridge between understanding and speaking. 3. Shadowing, the hidden technique. Now let me show you something powerful, something many successful learners use. It's called shadowing. Here's how it works. You listen to a short audio, a sentence, a phrase, and you repeat it immediately, at the same time, trying to copy the rhythm, the tone, the pronunciation, not perfectly, but closely. It may feel awkward at first, but this method does something very important. It connects your ears to your mouth. You're not just understanding English, you're training your speech. Even if you don't fully understand every word, you're still building fluency, because fluency is not just about meaning. It's about flow. 4. Speak before you feel ready. This is important, because many learners wait until they feel ready to speak. But that moment never comes. There's always more to learn. More vocabulary, more grammar, more practice. So if you keep waiting, you keep delaying. Instead, start speaking early, even with simple sentences, even with mistakes, because mistakes are not a problem. Silence is. Every time you speak, you improve. Every time you try, you gain confidence. And confidence comes from action, not preparation. 5. Make English part of your environment. You don't need to live in an English-speaking country to create an English environment. You can build it around you. Change your phone language to English. Follow English content on social media. Watch videos with subtitles. Listen to podcasts while walking. Read simple articles before sleeping. Little by little, your brain starts to adapt. English becomes familiar, not foreign. And when something feels familiar, it becomes easier to use. So remember this. Don't just learn English. Live it. In small moments. In simple ways. Every day. Part 5. Fear, overthinking, and the invisible wall. Let's talk about something deeper. Something you cannot see, but you can definitely feel. Fear. Not fear of English itself, but fear of making mistakes. Fear of sounding wrong. Fear of being judged. And because of that fear, you hesitate. You think too much. You stop yourself before you even start speaking. 1. The problem is not your English. Many learners believe, I can't speak because my English is not good enough. But that's not the real problem. The real problem is overthinking. You try to build the perfect sentence in your head. You check the grammar. You search for the right word. You rearrange everything, again and again. And by the time you're ready, the moment is gone. Conversation has moved on, and you stay silent, not because you don't know anything, but because you're trying to be perfect. 2. Perfection is the enemy of communication. Here's the truth. Communication is not about perfection. It's about connection. If people understand you, you are already succeeding. Even if your sentence is not perfect. Even if your grammar is not correct. Even if your pronunciation is not clear. Because in real life, people don't expect perfection. They expect effort. They appreciate clarity. And they respond to confidence. So instead of asking, "Is my sentence perfect?" ask, "Can people understand me?" That's what matters. 3. You are allowed to be a beginner. This is something many adults forget. When children learn a language, they make mistakes all the time. Wrong grammar, wrong pronunciation, incomplete sentences. But nobody judges them, because they are learning. So why are you so strict with yourself? Why do you expect yourself to speak perfectly in a language that is not your own? You are allowed to be a beginner. You are allowed to make mistakes. You are allowed to speak imperfectly, because that's how progress happens. 4. Confidence comes after action. Many people think, "I need to feel confident first, then I will speak." But it works the other way around. You speak first, and then confidence grows. Slowly, naturally, through experience. The more you speak, the less afraid you become. The less you overthink, the more natural you sound. And one day, you realize something surprising. You're not translating anymore. You're not hesitating as much. You're just speaking. 5. Break the invisible wall. Right now, there is a wall, not a real wall, but a mental one, between what you know and what you say. And that wall is built from fear, doubt, overthinking. So how do you break it? Not by learning more, but by using what you already know. Start simple. Speak short sentences. Don't wait. Don't overthink. Just say it. Because every sentence you speak is one step closer to fluency. Part 6. A simple roadmap you can follow every day. Now, let's bring everything together. No more confusion, no more guessing. Just a simple path that you can follow every day. Step 1. Learn less, but learn better. Don't try to learn everything. Focus on small, useful pieces. A few words, a few sentences, a few patterns. But understand them deeply. Use them, repeat them, make them yours. Because one sentence you can use is more valuable than 10 sentences you forget. Step 2. Listen every day. Even if it's just 10 to 15 minutes. Choose content that is clear, slow enough, easy to follow. Don't worry if you don't understand everything. Just stay with it. Let your brain get used to the sounds, the rhythm, the flow. Because listening builds intuition, and intuition makes speaking easier. Step 3. Speak in small moments. Don't wait for the perfect time to speak. Create small opportunities. Talk to yourself. Describe what you're doing. Repeat sentences out loud. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be consistent. Because speaking is a skill, and skills grow with use. Step 4. Keep it simple. When you speak, use simple English. Short sentences, clear ideas, Don't try to impress, try to express, because clarity is powerful, and simple English is real English. Step 5. Be patient with yourself. This journey takes time. There will be slow days, confusing days, days when you feel like nothing is improving. But don't let that stop you, because progress is happening, even when you don't see it. Every time you listen, every time you speak, every time you try, you are moving forward. Step 6. Never stop completely. This is the most important step. You can go slow, you can rest, but don't stop, because stopping breaks momentum, and restarting is always harder. So even on your busiest day, do something small. 1 sentence, 1 minute, 1 effort. Keep the connection alive. This is your roadmap. Simple, clear, real. And if you follow it, step by step, you will improve, not overnight, but steadily and permanently. Before you go, I want you to remember one thing. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be fast. You just need to keep going. Step by step, day by day. Because one day, you will look back and realize you understand more. You speak more. You feel more confident. Not because you found a shortcut, but because you didn't give up. If this video helped you, even just a little, consider subscribing. Because on this channel, we don't chase quick results. We build real progress. Together, slowly, step by step.